There are so many trading strategies on the internet, and for the most part, most of them are great for the market conditions that they were designed for. But when beginner traders ask me, what is the most important thing that they should focus on with their trading? My answer first off is everything. And in addition to that, the second thing would be learn to understand really well the story that the candlesticks are trying to tell you. And that's not to say don't follow a trading strategy, but what I am saying is if you learn to understand the story that the candlesticks are telling you really, really well, this will undoubtedly assist you in your buying and selling decisions. Now, candles come in many forms. We have the traditional candlestick, bars, Heikin-Ashi, just to name a few. The one that I'm going to focus on today is the traditional candlestick, and that's just because that's where most traders will begin their trading journey before exploring other types of candles down the track. So before I get into how to understand the story that the candles are trying to tell you, please take a second to hit the like button down below, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Now let's head over to the charts and take a look at how do we learn to read the story that the candlesticks are trying to tell us. Now, before we get into it, I'm not really going to be spending this video explaining the names of candles and what they actually mean. It's really simple for you to just come into Google, type in something like candlesticks cheat sheet, and you'll see that there are a number here that you can choose from. I will reference some of these when telling the story, but the names are not so important for the point of this video. All right, now let's head over to the chart. So first thing I want to do before I get into the candlesticks is I want to head back in time a little bit so that we can watch how this plays out without having to watch it in real time. So I'm going to come up here and click this replay tool, and I'm just going to click anywhere on the chart, and it's going to take me back in time. And now what I want to do is some really basic technical analysis just so that I can get a heads up as where we are in the market. So first thing I'm going to do is mark in a support level and also a resistance level. And then I want to see if I can identify any trend that's forming. So when I'm trying to pick a trend, I actually like to change to the line chart. So if you come up here and next to the candle icon, there's a drop down box. You can see here all the candles that you can choose from. When I'm trying to identify a trend, I like to change to the line chart. And so I've clicked the star there so that it shows up here in my menu and I can quickly reference it anytime I want. Now that we're on a line chart, it cuts out any noise and I can clearly see that I have lower highs here and I also have higher lows here. So I'm going to connect those first and then I'm going to connect the lows. And now what I can identify is I'm coming into a squeeze on Bitcoin at this point in time. I'm going to switch back to the candles. Okay, so now we're here. I can see that I'm in a symmetrical triangle after a downtrend, which is usually a continuation pattern, but usually doesn't mean always. So we still need to wait for a breakout either side before there is any actual trade opportunity. Now I can see here that within the triangle, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, which usually in a symmetrical triangle means that at some point we are going to experience that breakout. And this is where I now need to start looking at the candles to see if I can get a hint of what may happen next. Now, without naming the candles, really all I look for is the story that the wicks are telling me. So the wicks are the lines that are above and below the candles, and also the story of the bodies. So that's the thicker part in the middle. And then lastly, the shape. So to give you an idea, I'm only using the candles to get an idea of momentum. Which way is the momentum favored towards? So if you come back and have a look over here, you can see these hollow candles, they grow in size as they head down. So that's showing me there was a lot of selling pressure here. When the full-bodied candles, the white ones, when they tried to come back in, they couldn't compete in size with the other ones. So the selling pressure was really quite on during this phase. Whereas if you go back here, you can see that the colored candles, the ones in white, are growing as they're going up, and we didn't have any hollow candles on this way. So at this point in time, the buyers were very much in control. So number one, that's what I'm looking for in candles is the size of them when they're in a short-term trend. Is the size of them growing? That's showing me their momentum to continue in the direction that they're going. And then I also want to pay attention to the wicks. So price was pushing up in this example here, and I could see that the wicks at the bottom were much longer than the wicks at the tops of the candles here. Then that tells me that every time the sellers try to push price down, the buyers are saying, no, I'm not having it. I'm heading up in this direction. So the buyers are definitely much stronger in a range like this. The opposite happens when we start heading down. The wicks are on the top. Sometimes they can also be indecisive, which I'll get to in a minute. But when the wicks are mostly at the top of the candles and price is heading down, that's saying the buyers are trying to push price up, but the sellers are just too strong at this moment in time. Now, as we move along to where we currently are around this area, what we want to look at now is as price starts to head sideways, which it's doing in these last 6 candles, we want to try to get a hint of which way it might break out next. Now, this candle right here, because there is such a large wick at the bottom, it's showing us that even though the sellers are pushing price down, the buyers are really trying at this level to get the price up. They're not successful yet because we don't have a trend, but they're really trying hard. Even this candle here shows you that the buyers are trying really hard. As we move across to the last 3 candles, you can start to see how the wicks either side of the candle are quite even. That's quite indecisive. I like to think of candles as like a tug of war, and who's currently winning this tug of war. When the size of the wicks either side are even and the body of the candle is quite small, that's telling me right now no one's winning that tug of war. So this is called indecision. So what I always like to say is if the candles are showing indecision, how can you make a decision on where it's going? The candles themselves don't know where price is going next. So when you see candles moving sideways like this is your cue to do nothing but wait and watch. This is your cue to practice patience, which is one of the hardest parts of trading. So now we understand momentum pushing price up, and we understand momentum pushing price down, and then we understand indecision. So at this point in time, we can't actually get a hint of which way the price might break out of this triangle. We need a little bit more of the story to play out to give us a little bit more confidence. So I'm going to hit play on this. Okay, and as we go through a couple of candles, this cluster here is called a morning star. Now you can use the cheat sheet to understand what a morning star actually means, but when you get a morning star at a support level, which is what we're at currently, then that's usually a reversal sign saying that price is going to push up. Now the other thing to note is that within the triangle, we also have started to create a short-term trend that may have just broken. So if you connect the lows within the triangle, this is showing you that this candle right here has tried to break the short-term downtrend. However, until you have that change in market structure, there's no opportunity to long just yet. So what we would need to see, if there was a long opportunity, we would need to see price head up, come back and create a higher low, create a bullish candle pattern, and then head out. And a bullish candle pattern is something like a bullish engulfing, which is this candle right here, or even something like a hammer could do it as well. Something similar to that sort of a pattern where you can see a very big wick at the bottom, a little body. Sometimes there can be a wick at the top, but there doesn't always have to be. And you can see after a candle like that, price pushed up. So that's what we need to see here, is a change and then some sort of candle that resembles one of these. So we're going to press play. Okay, now as time has gone by, you can see that we are back in that indecision mode. We now have a resistance level around here that we can see lines up left a number of times. And we're seeing that price is struggling to get back up over that level. So now what's happening in this story is it's telling you, I've tried really hard to break out, but I just can't get above this level. Every time I try, which is what these wicks are telling you I'm trying to get above that level. Every time I try, I'm failing. And so what that's trying to tell you, that at the moment, the sellers are right here at this level and the buyers don't have enough strength to get above there. So unless the buyers can push price above and then hold above this level, it's looking like we're potentially going to head down. Now, again, if we look at the other side of the picture, we do still have wicks at the bottom. So it is showing that buyers haven't given up yet, but we are in a very tight range, and at some point in this tug of war, someone's going to give up and someone's going to win. So I'm going to press play. And here we can clearly see the buyers gave up and the sellers won the tug of war. Now what we're waiting for is either some sort of buyer recovery where the buyers come back in and try to push price up to this trend line before further continuation down, which may present a trading opportunity, or we can see if price just heads right down to this support, settles around here, and then potentially turns around and heads back up. And as we can see here, the sellers shot right through that level. But if you look at the current candle right now, you can see that the buyers are waiting at this level. This current candle is showing that the buyers don't really want price to go much lower here. Okay guys, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you are now starting to understand why learning to understand the candlestick story really, really well will help to assist your trading and should definitely be added as one of the confirmations before you enter or exit any trade. If you want to take a look at one of my trading strategies that you can add this candlestick story to as the final part of your confirmation, just have a look up here somewhere and you'll see a link to one of the trading strategies that I use in the markets. And don't forget to check out the rest of my channel, as I'm often uploading new strategies all the time. As always guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and hit that bell button so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. And also don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Let me know if this video was helpful or anything else that you would like to see covered on this channel. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, happy trading.